Is it possible to reclaim vitality lost over decades in mere days? Many seek quick fixes, but ancient paths offer profound shifts. The secret I share today isn't just about an oil, it's a key to unlock something dormant within you. Stay with me, because the final understanding changes not just how you see this, but how you see yourself. It's a perspective that holds immense power. Fading light. We all experience it. This subtle dimming, this almost imperceptible erosion of vibrancy that can creep in over the years. It isn't always a dramatic collapse, but rather a slow turning down of the inner flame. Perhaps the mind isn't as sharp as it once was, the memory not as readily accessible, or the body, it speaks in a language of stiffness, of aches that weren't there before, a certain heaviness that makes movement less joyful, less spontaneous. The energy, that boundless wellspring we recall from youth, seems to have a lower tide mark. It's not just about wrinkles or gray hairs. Those are merely the surface markers. The real decline happens deeper, in the spirit's willingness to engage, in the heart's capacity for unrestrained joy, in the mind's eagerness to learn and explore. This fading light can manifest as a lack of motivation, a feeling that the best days are behind us, or a quiet resignation to a lesser version of ourselves. We might find ourselves saying no more often to new experiences, not out of discernment, but out of a perceived lack of capacity. The world, which once seemed full of infinite possibilities, can begin to feel smaller, more constrained. This isn't a failing, it's a human experience, often accelerated by the pressures of modern life, by the disconnection from natural rhythms, by the constant barrage of stimuli that exhausts our reserves. We become like a plant that isn't receiving enough sunlight or the right nutrients. We don't wither overnight, but slowly, leaf by leaf, our vitality recedes. It's a profound sadness that can settle in when we realize this gap between who we feel we are or who we once were and the current reality of our energy and our being. We might try to push through it, to ignore it, to mask it with fleeting distractions. But the body, the mind, the spirit, they keep a faithful record. This sense of decline can be insidious because it often convinces us that this is just the way things are, the inevitable march of time. Yet, what if this inevitability is not as fixed as we believe? What if there are ways to rekindle that light, not by fighting against time, but by aligning with something far more ancient and powerful than the mere passage of years? The first step is to acknowledge this fading, not with despair, but with a gentle, honest observation. This gentle observation is crucial. Without judgment, we must look at where we are. Where has the energy gone? Where has the flexibility, not just of body but of mind, become restricted? It's like noticing the subtle shift in seasons. Autumn doesn't arrive in a single day. There are precursors, subtle changes in the air, in the light, in the leaves. Similarly, this decline has its own subtle language. Perhaps it's the need for an extra cup of coffee just to feel normal, or the way enthusiasm for projects wanes faster than it used to. It could be a persistent brain fog or an emotional resilience that feels thinner. Recognizing these signs without self-blame opens the door to curiosity, and curiosity is the beginning of change. It allows us to ask, is this truly how it must be, or is there another way, a path to not just halting the fade, but perhaps to bring back a brilliance we thought was lost? This isn't about chasing youth, but about reclaiming wholeness, vitality, and the full expression of our being, regardless of the calendar years. Ancient echoes. In our relentless pursuit of the new, the modern, the technologically advanced, it's easy to overlook the profound wisdom that lies dormant in the ancient ways. Our ancestors, living in closer harmony with the natural world, possessed an understanding of health, vitality, and the human condition that we are only beginning to rediscover. They didn't have laboratories or complex scientific instruments in the way we do, but they had something equally, if not more, potent. Keen observation, deep intuition, and generations of experiential knowledge passed down through traditions, often orally or in texts that speak a language we must relearn to decipher. These are the ancient echoes, whispers from the past that carry timeless truths about how to live well, how to heal, and how to maintain a vibrant connection to life. Imagine a time when the pharmacy was the forest, the field, the mountain, when knowledge of plants, minerals, and the body's subtle energies was a cornerstone of community well-being. This wasn't primitive superstition, it was a highly refined system of understanding, one that saw the human being as an integral part of the larger cosmic dance, interconnected with all of nature. The remedies they discovered were not synthesized in a lab, but were gifts of the earth, used with reverence and a deep understanding of their properties. This knowledge wasn't just about alleviating symptoms. It was about restoring balance, about nurturing the innate healing capacity that resides within each of us. The idea of an ancient oil, for example, speaks to this heritage, a distillation of nature's power, prepared perhaps through methods that honored the integrity of the ingredients, methods that have been largely forgotten in our rush for mass production and standardization. These echoes are not always loud. Sometimes they are so subtle that we miss them amidst the noise of contemporary life. But if we quiet ourselves, if we cultivate an inner listening, we can begin to hear them. They speak of rhythms, the rhythm of the seasons, the rhythm of day and night, the rhythm of our own breath, and how alignment with these rhythms is fundamental to well-being. They speak of simplicity, of the power found in unadulterated natural substances, and of the importance of inner cultivation alongside any external aid. It's a holistic perspective that sees no separation between mind, body, and spirit, understanding that what affects one will inevitably affect the others. So, when we hear of something ancient possessing the power to reverse decline, it's not just about the substance itself, but about reconnecting with the whole paradigm of wisdom that we have, for too long, set aside. This reconnection requires a shift in mindset. We are often conditioned to seek immediate, dramatic results to find the magic bullet. But ancient wisdom often teaches a different approach, one of patience, of process, of subtle yet profound transformation. It asks us to engage with our healing not as passive recipients, but as active participants. The oil, then, is not merely a product to be consumed, but a catalyst, a reminder of this older, deeper knowledge. It invites us to consider that perhaps the answers we seek are not always in the future, in the next breakthrough, but are waiting to be uncovered from the rich soil of the past. It's about valuing the tried and tested, the wisdom that has weathered the centuries, precisely because it is rooted in a fundamental understanding of life itself. These ancient echoes offer us a lifeline, a way to navigate the complexities of modern existence with tools that are both timeless and profoundly effective. Hidden power. Within the natural world, there exists a hidden power, an inherent intelligence and vitality that can profoundly influence our own. Every plant, every mineral, every element carries a unique signature, a specific energy, a collection of compounds that have evolved over millennia. When we speak of an ancient oil, we are speaking of a concentrated form of this natural power, something that has been carefully extracted and preserved, carrying the essence of its origin. The true potential of such substances often lies beyond what can be easily measured by modern science alone, though science can certainly help us understand some of their mechanisms. There's a synergy, a life force, in these natural gifts that interacts with our own being on a level that is both deeply physical and subtly energetic. Consider the journey of such an oil. It begins with plants, perhaps grown in specific environments, harvested at particular times, under specific conditions that our ancestors understood to maximize their potency. The methods of extraction themselves, often slow and deliberate, were designed to capture not just the chemical constituents, but something of the plant's spirit, its vital essence. This is a far cry from a synthetic compound created in isolation. There's a completeness, a wholeness to natural substances that our bodies, themselves a product of nature, seem to recognize and respond to more readily. This hidden power is not aggressive or forceful. It works in harmony with the body's own intelligence, nudging it back towards balance, supporting its innate capacity to heal and regenerate. The claim of reversing 20 years of decline in just 1 week is, of course, a dramatic one. And while we must approach such claims with discernment, it's also important not to dismiss the possibility of profound and rapid shifts when the right conditions are met. Sometimes the body is simply waiting for a missing key, a specific catalyst that can unlock a cascade of restorative processes. This ancient oil, if it is indeed what it is purported to be, might act as such a key. It's not necessarily about a linear reversal of every single aspect of aging, but perhaps about a significant upsurge in vital energy, a clearing of mental fog, a soothing of chronic inflammation, or a reawakening of cellular communication that creates a feeling, a tangible experience of having shed years of burden and fatigue. The hidden power lies in its ability to address root imbalances rather than just masking symptoms. This power is also amplified by our own state of mind, our intention, and our belief. If we approach such a remedy with skepticism and resistance, its effects may be blunted. But if we engage with it with openness, with respect, with a genuine desire for healing and rejuvenation, we create a receptive environment within ourselves that allows the substance to work more effectively. This isn't just placebo. It's about the profound interconnectedness of mind and body. The oil itself may provide the raw materials, the energetic imprint, but our consciousness plays a vital role in how that potential is actualized within our system. The true hidden power, therefore, is a collaborative dance between the gift from nature and the receptivity of our own being. It's about recognizing that healing is not something done to us, but something that arises within us, often facilitated by these potent allies from the ancient world. Sacred ritual. The way we approach any act of healing or self-improvement can profoundly influence its outcome. To take something as potentially potent as an ancient oil and simply consume it without thought, like any other commodity, is to miss a significant dimension of its power. Ancient wisdom often emphasizes the importance of ritual, of creating a sacred space and a focused intention around practices that are meant to bring about transformation. This isn't about empty ceremony, but about cultivating a state of presence, respect, and receptivity. Turning the application or ingestion of such an oil into a sacred ritual can amplify its benefits, transforming a simple act into a profound dialogue between you, the substance, and your own deepest intentions for healing and renewal. What does this mean in a practical sense? It begins with a slowing down. Before you even open the bottle, take a few moments to quiet your mind. Connect with your breath. Acknowledge the journey of this substance from its natural source through its careful preparation to your hands. Feel a sense of gratitude for the gift of nature it represents and for the ancient knowledge that has preserved its use. This simple act of pausing and centering yourself shifts your energetic state, making you more attuned to the subtle influences of the oil. It's about moving from a mode of passive consumption to one of active, conscious engagement. The ritual itself can be simple. Perhaps you find a quiet time of day when you won't be disturbed. You might light a candle or burn a little incense if that helps you create a sense of sacredness. As you prepare to use the oil, whether it's applied to the skin or taken internally, hold it for a moment. Set a clear intention. What is it you are seeking? Is it renewed vitality, mental clarity, physical comfort, a deeper connection to yourself? Articulate this silently or softly. This focused intention acts like a rudder, guiding the energy of the oil and your own body's resources towards a specific outcome. When you then apply or ingest it, do so with mindfulness, with full awareness of the sensations, the scent, the texture. Be present with the experience. This approach transforms the mundane into the meaningful. It's no longer just taking oil. It's an act of self-care, self-love, and profound communication with your own being. The ancient peoples understood this. Their healing practices were often interwoven with chants, prayers, and specific procedures that were designed to honor the spirit of the medicine and awaken the healing power within the individual. By incorporating a sense of sacred ritual into our own use of such remedies, we tap into this timeless wisdom. We acknowledge that true healing is not just a biochemical process, but a holistic one, involving mind, body, and spirit. The oil becomes a conduit, a focal point for our own innate capacity to regenerate and thrive, and the ritual becomes the sacred container that holds and amplifies this process. This conscious engagement is, in itself, a powerful act of reversing decline, as it brings presence and intention back into our lives. Inner alchemy. The true marvel of something like an ancient oil, particularly one that claims such profound effects, often lies not just in its inherent properties, but in its ability to catalyze a process of inner alchemy within us. Alchemy, in its deepest sense, is about transformation, turning lead into gold, metaphorically speaking. In the context of health and rejuvenation, it's about the transformation of a state of decline, fatigue, or imbalance into one of vitality, clarity, and harmony. An external substance, like this oil, can be the spark that ignites this internal alchemical fire. But the real work, the profound change, happens within the crucible of our own being. This process isn't merely about the oil doing something to us, as if we were passive machines. Instead, it interacts with our own complex systems, our biology, our energy, our consciousness, in a way that awakens dormant potentials and encourages the body's own innate wisdom to come to the fore. Think of it like a perfectly tuned key fitting into a specific lock. The oil might provide that key, unlocking pathways of healing and regeneration that were previously inaccessible or functioning suboptimally. This could involve supporting detoxification processes, reducing systemic inflammation, enhancing cellular communication, or even shifting an energetic imbalance that was contributing to the feeling of decline. The body, in its incredible intelligence, knows how to heal. Sometimes it just needs the right conditions and the right support to do so effectively. The 1-week time frame, while seemingly miraculous, might speak to the power of a catalyst to initiate a rapid reordering or rebalancing within the system, especially if the groundwork for such a shift is already subtly present or if the body is particularly responsive. When a critical threshold is reached, change can indeed appear to happen swiftly. However, this inner alchemy is rarely a one-off event. The initial shift might be noticeable and significant, but the deeper transformation is often an ongoing process. The oil might clear away some of the accumulated dross, allowing the inner light to shine more brightly, but maintaining and cultivating that light requires continued awareness and conscious living. Furthermore, this alchemical process extends beyond the purely physical. As the body begins to feel better, as energy returns and clarity improves, our mental and emotional states are invariably affected. Aches and pains that once clouded our outlook may recede, lifting a burden we didn't fully realize we were carrying. The mind, freed from a degree of physiological stress, can become sharper, more creative, more optimistic. This creates a positive feedback loop. As we feel better physically, our emotional and mental resilience increases, which in turn further supports our physical well-being. This is the holistic nature of true healing. The ancient oil in this sense is not just a physical remedy, but a catalyst for a psycho-spiritual renewal, helping us to transmute the lead of accumulated stress, fatigue, and negativity into the gold of vibrant health and a renewed zest for life. It is a profound partnership between nature's gift and our own capacity for transformation. Awakened senses. When we speak of reversing decline, what does that truly feel like? Beyond the abstract idea, the lived experience is one of awakened senses, a heightened awareness and appreciation of life. Imagine waking up one morning and the world seems subtly brighter, sounds are clearer, the air itself feels more nourishing. This isn't necessarily a dramatic, cinematic transformation, but a gentle yet profound re-engagement with the sensory world, as if a veil has been lifted. The body, which may have felt like a dull or cumbersome vessel, starts to communicate a sense of lightness, of ease. Movements that were once stiff or effortful become more fluid, more natural. There's a newfound pleasure in the simple act of inhabiting your physical form. This awakening can manifest in many ways. Perhaps food begins to taste more vibrant, flavors more distinct and enjoyable. The subtle scent of rain on dry earth, or the fragrance of a flower, might suddenly evoke a deeper response, a connection that was previously muted. The quality of touch might change, both in how you perceive it and how you offer it. There's a sensitivity that returns, a receptivity to the nuances of the environment and your own internal state. This isn't just about the 5 traditional senses. It's also about an awakening of our interoception, the sense of our internal bodily state. We become more attuned to the body's signals of hunger, fullness, fatigue, and energy, allowing us to respond more wisely to its needs. The mental landscape also shifts. The fog that may have clouded thinking can begin to dissipate, replaced by a clarity and sharpness that feels invigorating. Ideas flow more easily, memory becomes more reliable, and the capacity for focused attention increases. There's a renewed curiosity, an eagerness to learn and engage that may have been dormant. This mental awakening is deeply intertwined with the physical. When the body is functioning more optimally, when inflammation is reduced and cellular energy is more abundant, the brain benefits directly. It's like a garden that has been properly weeded and watered. Everything grows more vibrantly. Emotionally, this awakening can lead to a greater sense of calm, of resilience. The small irritations of daily life may seem less overwhelming. There can be a rekindling of joy, an upwelling of gratitude for the simple fact of being alive and well. This isn't about an artificial high, but a steady, grounded sense of well-being that emanates from within. The decline we experienced often carried with it a subtle or overt emotional burden, perhaps a low-grade anxiety, a sense of resignation, or a general lack of enthusiasm. As this burden lifts, as vitality returns, our emotional landscape naturally brightens. The experience of reversing 20 years of decline, if it truly touches these deeper levels, is ultimately an experience of coming more fully alive, of feeling a renewed connection to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. It's a return to a more vibrant, sensory-rich way of being, beyond time. The phrase reverses 20 years of decline in just 1 week is undeniably provocative. It challenges our conventional understanding of time and the processes of aging and healing. While we should always approach such claims with a healthy discernment, it's also worth exploring the deeper meaning that might lie beyond the literal interpretation. Perhaps it's not solely about winding back a chronological clock in a linear fashion, but about a profound qualitative shift in our being that feels as if years of accumulated burden have been lifted in a remarkably short period. Time, after all, is not just a mechanical tick-tock. Our experience of it is deeply subjective, influenced by our energy, our health, and our state of consciousness. When vitality is low, when we are burdened by chronic discomfort or mental fog, time can feel heavy, slow, and oppressive. Each day can be a struggle, and the future can seem like a mere extension of that struggle. In such a state, even a week can feel like an eternity. Conversely, when we experience a significant upsurge in well-being, a release from long-standing issues, it can feel as though we've been given a new lease on life. This renewed sense of energy, clarity, and lightness can create a subjective experience of time expanding, of possibilities opening up. It's in this context that the 1 week might represent a period of intense catalyzed transformation where the effects of years of decline are significantly ameliorated, leading to a feeling of profound rejuvenation that transcends the mere passage of 7 days. The 20 years of decline might also be a metaphor for a depth of accumulated imbalance or a level of disconnection from our inherent vitality that has occurred over a significant period. It's not that every single cell literally becomes 20 years younger, but that core systems which have been struggling or underperforming for a long time are suddenly given the resources and the impetus to function at a much higher, more youthful level. Imagine a garden that has been neglected for 2 decades, full of weeds, compacted soil, struggling plants. With intensive, focused effort, the right tools, nutrients, and care, that garden can be transformed in a relatively short period, not back to its exact previous state, but to a new state of flourishing that belies the long period of neglect. The ancient oil in this analogy could be that concentrated care. This perspective invites us to look beyond a purely mechanistic view of healing. It acknowledges that profound shifts can occur when the body's innate intelligence is powerfully supported and a deep, energetic repatterning takes place. The miracle, then, is not so much about defying the laws of physics or biology, but about tapping into a deeper, often underutilized capacity for healing and renewal that resides within us. The experience of such rapid and profound change can fundamentally alter our relationship with time, making us realize that our state of being is not solely determined by the number of years we have lived, but by the vitality and consciousness we bring to each moment. It's a reminder that transformative change is possible, and sometimes it can unfold with a speed and depth that reshapes our perception of what it means to heal and to live fully. Flowing river. True vitality, the kind that feels like a deep wellspring of energy and clarity, is not a static state to be achieved and then held on to rigidly. It's more like a flowing river, dynamic, ever-changing, requiring continuous nurturing and mindful attention. While an ancient oil or a specific intervention might provide a powerful surge, a clearing of blockages, or a significant boost that feels like a reversal of decline, the journey doesn't end there. The real wisdom lies in understanding how to maintain and cultivate this renewed flow, how to integrate the lessons and the benefits into the fabric of our daily lives, so that vitality becomes not just a temporary experience, but an enduring quality of our being. This means looking at the broader context of our lives. What were the conditions that contributed to the decline in the first place? Were there habits of diet, of movement, of thought, of managing stress that were depleting our reserves? The gift of a profound rejuvenation experience is that it often provides the clarity and energy needed to make more supportive choices moving forward. It's an opportunity to rebuild on a stronger foundation. This isn't about imposing a rigid set of rules, but about cultivating a deeper listening to our body's wisdom, making choices from a place of self-awareness and self-compassion. It's about finding a sustainable rhythm that nourishes us on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. The principles that underlie the effectiveness of an ancient remedy, purity, natural harmony, mindful application, can also guide our ongoing lifestyle. Seeking out whole, unprocessed foods, spending time in nature, ensuring adequate rest, engaging in joyful movement, cultivating moments of stillness and presence. These are all ways to keep the river of vitality flowing. It's about recognizing that small, consistent actions undertaken with intention can have a profound cumulative effect, much like the gentle, persistent flow of water can shape even the hardest stone over time. The initial boost from the oil can be seen as a dredging of the riverbed, allowing the water to flow freely again. Our ongoing practices are what keep the channel clear and the water pure. Ultimately, this journey is one of continuous learning and adaptation. Life will always present challenges, stresses, and periods where our energy may wane. But armed with the experience of renewal and with a commitment to conscious living, we are better equipped to navigate these fluctuations. We learn to recognize the early signs of imbalance and to respond proactively, rather than waiting for a significant decline to set in. The goal is not to achieve a perfect, unchanging state of health, but to cultivate a resilient, adaptable vitality that allows us to engage with life fully, with all its ups and downs, with an open heart and an energized spirit. The flowing river doesn't resist obstacles. It finds its way around them, always moving towards the vastness of the ocean. So too can our vitality, if we tend to its source and honor its flow. This path of rejuvenation, sparked perhaps by an ancient gift, is ultimately an invitation to a deeper relationship with ourselves, a more conscious way of inhabiting our lives. It's a journey of remembering our innate capacity for healing and wholeness, and of embracing the practices that allow that capacity to flourish, not just for a week or a year, but for the entire course of our precious lives. This ancient oil sounds incredible, but I think the true magic is in the intention and awareness you bring to it. Like you said, it's not just about the substance, but about waking up our own body's wisdom. This makes so much sense. I felt that slow decline, and this gives me hope that it's not a one-way street. Thank you for sharing such a deep perspective.